Hi guys, welcome to another show on the No Beef podcast. Obviously, every time we come on the podcast, we have a special guest. As you know how it goes, I don't introduce the guest introduces themselves. So please take it away.
Hi Bobby, thanks for having me. I'm really delighted to be here. So I'm Steph and I'm 28, born and bred in Edinburgh, with part of my dad's side coming over from Poland and my mum's side coming over from Ireland, which could explain my love of potatoes as it was during the potato famine. I'm also a full-time business student too, and on the side I'm an entrepreneur with this of different personal training, strength and conditioning coaching, and then there's a few things that I'm working on and so much more that I plan on achieving. So you'll want to stay tuned, Bobby?
Yes, definitely. We look forward to that. So as everyone can see, that Steph is an entrepreneur with a very smart head on her shoulders, and also with her Irish connection, she's an ethnic as well. So she's one of us. It's all good. So, Steph, as you know what the podcast is all about, it's about to talk about racism in Edinburgh, Glasgow, all the cities all over Scotland. Okay, so my first question to you is, do you think racism exists in Edinburgh or in Scotland as a whole?
Absolutely, without a doubt. This goes beyond that, and it's a worldwide issue. In my experience, I feel that we may not always recognise how a particular word usage actually affects someone in a specific situation, because maybe an individual or our friends may not highlight that they're impacted by it.
Yeah.
If they were something to me, they said that a situation happened and then they felt it was negative, then I would then take the appropriate action to then educate those who were saying those things and to support this person or my friend as necessary, as I value them. And I'm now more confident as an adult to stand up to these situations.
Brilliant.
I personally feel that choosing to not say certain words, because I have respect for everybody no matter what the difference, and is from my upbringing with my dad, who when he was studying in university, the same one I'm studying at and working.
Oh, how emotional.
I know. He worked in a Chinese takeaway, delivery driver, and he would take me along with him. And I was only a few years old at the time, so I was immediately exposed to my first non-white family. And in between then, my brother worked for him. And when I turned 16, I worked for the same family as well. And I've done so for so many years now, as well as working alongside Thai staff, Pakistani staff, Indian colleagues. They're absolutely brilliant. And I've had that positive exposure from people from all walks of life. And I believe that makes a massive difference with racism being so indoctrinated into some people's lives with statements and remarks such as, oh, they're stealing our jobs. And I think, it plays a massively strong role in this.
So what you just said there about stealing our jobs, what are the type of conversations that you've overheard or listened to that phrase has came out, they are stealing our jobs? Because we both know what it means and what kind of people say that, okay? But do you think when the people that are saying it, do you think they intellectually actually know what they're saying?
No, not at all. And I think this stems back to the type of jobs that people are stealing. You have to also ask yourself, have you actually applied for those jobs? Because it seems to be that the workers that come over here to work in certain industries, if it wasn't for them, then we wouldn't have like thriving industries, whether it's something just off the top of my head, working on behalf of Tesco's to pick, say, the strawberries. I know that's a Australian thing, but it's also very applicable to what I'm talking about here, as without those workers we wouldn't have the necessary fruits and strawberries to obtain from the supermarkets.
Right. Yeah, agreed. And with you being a white female growing up in Scotland, okay, do you feel, compared to a woman of colour, so for example a black woman or an Asian woman, do you feel you have been treated differently in any walk of your life so far, growing up in Scotland?
I feel that because I look quite young for my age, so I mentioned I'm 28, but so far time is on my side, and if I age rapidly overnight I'll be really mad. But I think I get quite a lot of remarks against how young I look, and I don't always get taken seriously. And I think massive issue for me as well. It's always given me that drive to be determined to succeed that little bit more.
Yeah. Okay. So compare yourself to the job you're doing at the moment. Okay. Do you feel that with the way you were brought up with your dad and seeing different kinds of cultures, different kinds of races, seeing how people work and so on, do you feel that makes you more comfortable with other races being in their company, but also does it make you angry when you see racism?
Oh, without a doubt. There's been various incidents over the years, and it's not always in person, but
Okay.
the more you think of it, the more noticeable it actually is. And
Okay.
this is through the media content that's shared, where somebody perhaps will share a particular video or an article, for example, and then as I look back on this now, the individual will refer to what they've shared in a derogatory manner. And I think to myself, why do you have to identify this situation by colour, and why can't you refer to the group or the individual itself? And I think there needs to be more awareness and understanding that one bad person does not represent the group as a whole.
Yeah.
And I use it loosely here because it does apply to everybody. I just can't process why someone would go out of their way to insult or make someone else feel worthless.
Yeah.
And I know this is an inherent issue. It stems from a lack of education, ignorance, maybe even a little jealousy, and I know that I surround myself with people who are not afraid to speak out when they see wrongdoing, and I think that's really important for others going forward. And I know that also not using your voice to speak up when there's an injustice and when prejudice occurs, it's just as bad as committing the act itself. And so I think if we can share this message and know that we're going to contribute just that little bit more, even if it is just raising awareness about the movement.
Perfect. And I agree with you. And raising awareness is perfect. That's why I made the podcast. I'm not a celebrity. I'm not anyone special or anything like that. I'd like to know that we're known in Edinburgh. Majority of people know what we've done. So I'd like to think that people would watch this, listen to it, or have an interest in it. And it's not just about me talking. It's about me having conversations with other people, other races, male or female. Reason I want everyone to know that me and Steph actually know each other for around 5-6 years. We actually worked together at under 18 clubs and stuff like that. So we are showing our age right now. Steph's 28 and I'm 30, but we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
As of yet.
As we were talking there, I need to ask you a question. It's regarding appearance. Okay. Now, you're a white female, okay? Clearly obvious to see, okay? And when I was growing up in secondary school, I was slagged for having big lips, for the colour of my skin. And my sister was slagged, my black female friends and cousins were slagged for having big bums. And let's not forget about the hair, okay? Extensions, weaves, braids, and so on and so on. Now, fast forward 15 years, it's now becoming fashionable to have dark skin, fashionable to have big lips, fashionable to squat, fashionable to get a bump, and so on. And the hair, what's your thoughts on that?
I think everything that you've mentioned there with the lips, the hair, the bum, I think they're all absolutely brilliant. But the part that annoys me the most is that if you like to, if it doesn't come natural to you, like it doesn't come natural to me. So I've personally had my lips filled before. When I smiled, my top lip disappeared. So that kind of annoyed me.
Okay.
And I personally feel that if you were to adopt any of those that you've just mentioned and not respect where all of it came from, that is the part that annoys me the most, because it's not just like, it's not from the white culture, it's from this goes back like hundreds, maybe more, hundreds of years, and those practices have been used for years. And to have to actually apply it to yourself and then discriminate against those where it came from, that's the part that annoys me the most.
And I think that's what annoys the women of colour, the black women, the Asian women, because it'd be very a boring world if we're all built the same and we all
Oh
look
yeah.
like each other. Okay. The black female, I can talk because I grew up with black females. Yes, they were shaped differently. Yes, they were thicker in some areas and stuff like that. But what made me sad was just that when I was growing up, it wasn't seem cool to have these features. It was seen as you're different, you're beneath us, you're below us. Yet, you know, now it's all everywhere. The generation coming up, our generation, that's what they're doing now. And the last thing I'll say on this, do you think, regarding obviously non-women of color, so let's say white women, okay, looking to get lips done, looking to get the bun left, looking to get their hair done, we've done. Do you think because they think it's fashionable, that's why they're doing it? And do you think because it's the black culture, oh, I can do that. Yeah, I like that. I want to look like that, so I get this done. I do know there's a small minority that within those stuff is about confidence, mental health.
Yeah.
Some people do, let's say, get a boob job. Some people do get their lips done, get their cheeks done, stuff. I get that. Mental health is crucial. If you feel that's going to help your mental health, I salute you and I'm with you. Okay, definitely. I know there's a minority that are like that, okay? And we are acknowledging all of them. The other people, I feel, it's just fashionable. I think eyebrows was a fashion. And then I went to lip fillers, cheekbones, Botox, weaves. And in my head, I'm thinking, whoa, these people that were slating me at school are the same girls I'm seeing now. And I'm like, oh, so now it's cool because it's fashionable. But at the same time, these people won't say Black Lives Matter. These people will ignore the sorrow that goes on with the black culture, but they will enjoy the black culture at the same time to their needs. What's your thoughts on that?
That saddens me. It really does, because that's the beauty of getting to experience all of these different cultures, is that they each bring something to the table. And when you start to as like one culture experiencing even one or two different ones, you can learn so much more. You thrive better. It's better for so many different reasons that it's just. And especially from a young age, I think that's very important to be involved in different, just broaden your horizon in any way that's possible. So again, going back to that, if I do fully get that people can grow up, and what might be their ideology and their perspective and then their social group in high school, they then learn and they grow, and it's okay to then become a better person and to look back at the person you were and think, that wasn't acceptable. Like, as long as you then can acknowledge that and then respect those around you from all different walks of life, I think that's really important. But if you then discriminate against all of those how do we refer to them, sorry, against all of the different, not quite the cultures, Bobby, but the with the weaves and the
let's just say, like, you can say by the hair, their features, the appearance. What's the word we're looking for? Weaves are made to make your hair thicker, longer, extensions, and so on and so on.
So it is part of the culture, but is there another word that I'm looking for there? So it's not quite a lifestyle. I feel like we're almost there, but if you can respect that overall, and then practice that later on once you've been exposed to the possibilities, I think that's the worst part. And I really don't know what to say about it. It makes me really sad and disappointed that you're pigeonholing yourself. You're refining yourself to this little box full of this world that it shouldn't exist.
Yeah. What we do to help raise awareness and make people aware of racism or how not to be racist?
I think that stems back to education, and it starts very early on in the nursery years, not just primary or high school, further back than that, as it's education is a really powerful tool. And I've already mentioned that nobody is born judgmental. It's the experiences and those that you surround yourself that really shape you to be the person that you are later on in life. And we need to invest in our youth and provide them with the necessary tools to succeed, and to not like that, because they're like, if they tend to go off and join gangs, you know, it's very hard to get them out of those.
Yeah, totally, 100% agree with you, really do. You know how you've been studying and you've been working hard, coming up with your projects and so on. Do you feel you're going to get loads of opportunities? Actually, let me rephrase that. Do you think there'll be more open doors for your business adventures because you are a white female?
That's a very tough but very valid question.
I apologise, it's a curveball.
I know, I really expected that one. So again, as it stems back to me looking young for my age, I feel, like I said, I feel sometimes that I'm not taken as seriously as I want to be, and I also my personality. So I like to think of myself as quite a happy, energetic, enthusiastic individual, and because maybe it may come across that I've not had as much life experience as others, when in fact I actually have, but I don't like to show it all the time, then I always like to be best version of myself. I have noticed that more of if I have an idea that I want to pursue, I get more response from males with those ideas, if that makes sense.
Okay.
And I haven't really had any negative feedback as of yet, but I feel more so that perhaps it could still happen. You know, the bigger I want to go, the less I'll be taken seriously.
Yeah. So on the back on that, okay, being taken seriously and stuff. Imagine you were a black woman, and then you wouldn't even not just being taken seriously, not even acknowledging you. So, like, you know, obviously, because of your looks, because you look young, you're being discriminated against, aren't you? At the end of the day, let's be honest, and that is discrimination. You know, the same way if a black woman or an Asian woman would probably not be acknowledged for because of the color of skin. Where I'm going with this is that because you're white female doesn't mean you would not get discriminated against. You know, we are trying to create awareness, and I'm not just saying that it's not, the racism is just not on black, white on Asian or anything like that. I mean, white women can be discriminated against, and I think you're a great person to talk about that, because, you know, women should be taken seriously regardless how they look. You know, if in your profession, if you've got a business idea, take them seriously. Why not? You know, at the end of the day, we're all looking to be treated equal, right? Do you know what I'm saying? So, Absolutely. As you've grown up, have you ever witnessed in-person racism?
It's more subtle than it would be anything major like we're seeing on the news right now.
Okay.
So again, it's more subtle things, like perhaps I've had somebody say in front of me, so again, when I was working for the Chinese takeaway, there was somebody that stood right in front of me, and they were on the phone and they said, "Oh yeah, I'm just at the CHINKY," and I was thinking, like, why can't you just say what it is? It's like a Chinese takeaway, you just say you're there. And it's little subtleties like that really baffle me as to why, because they're unnecessary, but it's also like a blind ignorance, if that makes sense.
Because if we went to a chippy or a pie shop, I wouldn't be saying, "Oh, I'm at the white guy's shop." Do you know? Do you know what I'm saying? So I think that what you just said, I witness that all the time. You hear it in pubs, clubs, and stuff like that, and I'm thinking, it's called the Chinese. I always correct them, and I'm glad you do feel like that, because I don't understand it either, you know. And it's that subtleness, or I call it casual racism, because they're very, very comfortable to say it. but then they'll say they're not a racist. Now, I think racism is a thought that's processed, then it's actioned. Okay?
Yeah.
So for them, they've probably thinking, yeah, I'm at the chinky, let's say what it is, that's what they say, okay? But to me and you were like, well, you can't say that. But people like that don't know they can't say that. And I think conversations like this raises awareness, because I don't know why someone wouldn't say, I'm getting a Chinese tonight, or I'm just getting a takeaway tonight. You know, why do you feel the need to put that derogative word on it?
Absolutely.
You know, after you heard that the person say like that, I mean, personally, as a white female, how did it make you feel hearing someone say that word?
I felt almost it's not quite the same, but I almost felt disrespected myself because they said it right in front of me. And so when they came off the phone, I went, so you're ready to order your Chinese? And so I didn't really say anything negative, but I certainly wasn't going to, fight fire with fire. I just emphasised the point that this is how you should be addressing the food that you're ordering, or however the situation may be. And not that, made an impact or whatever along those lines, but at least I made the effort to do that.
What you just said there about making the effort, you acknowledge the situation, okay, and you verbally said to her Chinese in a way that the person would know, I probably shouldn't have said that. Now, we pray and hope that that conversation, that dialogue you had with that person, they then go back home after eating their Chinese and think, oh, do you know what, actually, the girl made a point. I probably shouldn't have said that. And I think racism in education starts from the home, the individual at home inside. Casual racism, people will say to you, oh, I'm not racist. Oh, I'm not racist. Well, I'm not saying you're racist. However, you use racial derogative words. So what does that make you? I mean, a circle is a circle and a spade's a spade. Okay? Going off that, could you imagine if you were Chinese and they said that in front of you? How would you feel?
It's a whole other ball game there, because then they're directing it specifically at me, whereas before I took it more personal because I was working there. Whereas if the roles were reversed and I was Chinese, would I be brave enough to say, like, don't disrespect me like that, or don't just use the proper words as you should? Yeah. So you don't know until you're in the situation, which is a very difficult one.
And what I like about that is that obviously you flipped it, you've seen yourself, you thought, you've acted, you've answered the question. And it's good that regardless if you were Chinese or not, you were bothered what that individual said. And I think that's how we have to start policing people, you know. We need to start making them aware, need to start making a point to say, look, you know, you can't say those words. And unfortunately, you know, these conversations are probably going to happen at the weekend, happen in midweek when people order it and stuff. And I just hope and pray that the people that behind the counter are serving these individuals are confident enough to say, look, you can't say that. Even potentially, I would say don't serve them, because at the end of the day, people need to make business and stuff. However, make sure that they are aware that, look, you know, if you're going to be eating our food, please show our race some respect, at least, you know. Leading on to the next question, what's your thoughts on BLM? BLM, when you hear BLM, what's your thoughts and feelings?
I'm sad that I'm not sad. I'm annoyed and infuriated that it's still happening to this day. In 2020, I feel like this is something that should have been overcome years and years ago. And I know that no matter what, you're always going to have discrepancies with people over several things. And, you know, you could be like yourself and myself, Bobby, we could just have a little like heated discussion about something as simple as potatoes, you know. And also, we're just going to have a big massive argument, but it doesn't need to be, you know, this is like someone's particular race is superior to the others. It just has to be my interest is I know I'm right when it comes to potatoes, Bobby, let's just say that right there, but it's
Irish in you coming out.
I defend it till the end. And then,
Yes.
I feel so, it doesn't make any sense. Like, that's so much hatred in some people. It blows me away. And I think raising awareness at this stage is absolutely vital to sustain the movement. It's not just enough to share and then like mind your own business afterwards, which I've done. I've just said, I felt, previous in the past I've shared a document I'm supporting, but no, it goes above and beyond that, because it doesn't impact your life. And maybe you have a preferred social platform, it's easier to actually promote the content, and this is absolutely fine, but donate and continue to remind people why the movement exists in the first place, and keep shining that light on the movement. So get your names on those petitions. It's free and it takes less than a minute. And if you see anything happening, don't just stand there minding your own business, because this is exactly why we're still suffering.
Exactly. And I love your passion, Steph. I really do. And I love your enthusiasm. And, I remember the first thing when we met, I was just like, yeah, I can work with this girl. Perfect. And it makes my heart pump knowing that, like, a woman like you and looks the way you look would stand up for a person that looks like me with my colour of skin. And the fact that you wouldn't even think twice to not say something, I encourage that and I urge that to everyone, because as a black male, to be racially profiled, but then to have your peers, your friends, your white friends, female, male, stand up for you and verbally embarrass that individual, it's what makes us believe there is good people, there is hope for change, and it also means that we do live amongst great human beings, So stuff like that makes me real happy, and I'm glad that obviously you've chose to come on the podcast. I'm glad that you've shared some of your experiences regarding influencing. Okay, obviously you're a massive Instagram influencer. Do you think what you post or what you do has an effect on your followers? In the sense, let me give you an example. Okay. You've just finished the gym session and you've put up a Lucozade bottle. Okay. Love the Lucozade bottle. Make sure you get yours. Do you think with all your 35,000+ followers, do you think that people look at that like, oh, she drinks that, maybe I should drink that? Do you think that's a possibility?
Yeah, possible, definitely. I like to think that I've got positive content that, whatever I post, it would encourage people to be mindful of what they themselves put online, particularly because every single voice matters. And again, if you create the right source, then, it will cause the ripple effect essentially, and I'll encourage them to do the same. And at the moment, because the media is portraying all of the violent protests with individuals who are actually utilising the coverage to commit the crime, and it's unrelated to what the Black Lives Matter stands for. And I just think that we've all got a voice, and it's how we choose to use it that really, at the end of the day, leaves the lasting impression.
On that, I'm glad you said that, because I've noticed you have been posting a lot regarding BLM, and it makes me very happy to be like, yeah, she's staying with it, she's educating herself. And I've noticed that since you reposted that you're coming on, I got a lot of people followed me.
Oh, yay, that's
yeah. So this is my point, is that you are an influencer. People have seen that, oh my God, Steph's going to be on the show. I need to follow it so I can listen to it. Then that's a raising awareness at itself, And then when they listen to you talking about this content, they're going to go home, text their girlfriend, text their boyfriend, or repeat the conversations at their workplaces if they're working because of COVID-19. And I feel like, I'm not trying to gas you up here, but I feel like you are a positive person. And you don't give yourself enough credit. That's what I'm going to say. And as a black male, as a friend of yours who is black, I can only say I appreciate what you do for the black community. And I hope and pray that the way things are going now, things are going to slightly change.
Absolutely.
I hope that the people that do follow you can do read these stuff and be like, wow, I never knew that, you know?
Yeah.
So I think every day, you know, Black lives do matter. We're learning about the history and the heritage of Black people and stuff. So please continue, where I'm going with this is, please continue to make people aware, post, even if people ask you questions, answer them, just have that conversation, you know, because from the Black community, you know, we appreciate and we invite and encourage non-Black people to have these conversations, to make this stance for us. Finally, all I'm going to ask you is that as a white female growing up in Edinburgh, okay,
Yeah.
and with all the different cultures and so on, do you think that growing up white in Edinburgh can be seen as being ignorant?
Another curveball. That's a question. I think it's different, and it's different in the sense that as a female, so not just white in general, as a female, you know, I feel scared walking down the streets at night.
Okay.
Feel confident knowing that I've grown up with a martial arts background, and then if you try anything, I am not afraid to kick your ass. So that's a good thing. But that's not everybody else's upbringing. I can't say that they feel the same. You know, everybody's situations are different, and I think that's important to take on board. So for me personally, with my individual experience, I think that I'm grateful for the upbringing that I have with the martial arts experience, with just being submerged in culture all around me. And I just think I'm so lucky to have that, and especially at such a young age to be influenced by all of these positive people. And I continue to do that. I continue to surround myself with people who encourage me to be better, and vice versa. Like yourself, Bobby, what you're doing today is absolutely brilliant, and what you'll continue to do. So I'm absolutely delighted that you're in my life, and I hope that, you know, we can continue to spread this message so that, you know, we're all considered as equals.
Perfect. I mean, no, seriously, you know, like, I want diversity. I want everyone to be treated equal. And, you know, coming from you and hearing that, this is the platform we're giving each other, you know. And it is a white female and a Black male that are talking, that both grew up in Scotland, you know.
Yes.
So, no, all I can say is thank you for coming on. You are really, really appreciated. We will have another conversation, definitely, because I feel like I'd love to get you back on and talk more and spread more. I'm sure we can speak for hours. For the people that are listening, safe to say there's no beef between me and Steph. Steph, thank you so much for coming, okay? And I'll speak to you soon.
Brilliant. Thanks so much, Bobby. Take care.
Bye.